When we started the Naz Legacy Foundation, we couldn't have imagined that we would be here today. We've had so much support, and we are so grateful to all of you. And I think my father would say, well, I was just a teacher. And there's a lot of you here who are just teachers, like myself. But I think the reason we've got so much support is that teachers are amazing. We are inspirational. We make a real difference. The tragic news of Anne Maguire this week has touched everyone's heart. But let's hope that their family gets some sort of comfort, because the effect that she had, not just to the children, but to generations and to the whole community, was amazing. Teachers are wonderful. And I think that's why we have had such great support, particularly from the Right Honourable Deputy Prime Minister Nick Clegg.
It is absolutely lovely to be here, and thank you for inviting me to this event. I agree with everything you say about the value and esteem in which we should all hold teachers. Teachers, we gift our sons and daughters to teachers, and they look after our children, they instill values in our children, they raise the sights of children when they think about their own futures. Teachers of all descriptions play such an important role in society, and it is wonderful that the Naz Legacy Foundation, named of course after an extraordinary teacher, not a man I met, but I sort of feel I have met when I have read so much about what Naz Bokhari did for his own school, for his own pupils, and indeed for his own children and his own family. Clearly Naz acted as a great role model for teachers then, when he was a head teacher himself, and indeed for teachers today. And if I needed any illustration or confirmation of that, I saw it at the National Portrait Gallery just earlier today, where I was able just to spend a few short minutes with pupils from Ernest Bevans School, as they were, for the first time, I think, for the vast majority of them, introduced to the National Portrait Gallery, but to a particular portrait painted in 1733, is it, by William Hoare, entitled Diallo, I think, painting a remarkable portrait of the first freed slave who was, through a very circuitous route, Gambia, North America, then came here to the United Kingdom, was painted by William Hoare in traditional, then 18th century Gambian dress with the Quran worn proudly round his neck. And to look at these youngsters who had not been to the gallery before, and I suspect, like many, many youngsters, when it was first told to them that they were going to go to the National Portrait Gallery, thought, oh, boring museum visit, and it's going to be full of portraits of whiskered gentlemen in stiff Victorian outfits, probably didn't realise that actually they were going to expose to a portrait, and I could see it in their reactions, which really, really spoke to them. And it was an uplifting, inspiring experience to hear each of them being asked by their teacher to pick a word, and a different word, they couldn't use the same word, to pick an adjective to describe their emotions, their responses to the portrait. And for those of you who are teachers, I know this is a daily experience for you, but it was a wonderful experience for me just to see how their eyes were metaphorically being, well, and literally being lifted as a door was being opened to a world they were not aware of before through a painting they had never seen before. It was an uplifting moment for the children involved, and it showed the power of everything that Naz Bokhari, I'm told, believed in, which is that we all have a duty as adults, we all have a duty as society, we all have a duty as teachers especially, to introduce children to thoughts, experiences, to inspiration, and to great art and to great teaching, which they otherwise would not have access to, so that they can think big and dream big about their own futures. And that, at the end of the day, is why education is so much of a personal passion of mine, and I know it's a personal passion of everybody here, because it is the only way by which we can ensure that we genuinely live in a society in which fairness means what it says on the tin. Namely, you are not condemned by the circumstances of your birth. If you want to do well, if you want to work hard, if you want to deploy your talents to their full, if you want to dream your dreams to the biggest extent possible, education is the great liberator. It really is the great liberator of the human soul, the human spirit, and the human intellect. That is why education is so important. That is embodied in the life and work of Naz Bokhari, and that is now also distilled in so much of the work of the Naz Legacy Foundation. And that, in a nutshell, is why I am and will remain such a very great supporter of everything the Naz Legacy Foundation does. Thank you very much.